There was a time I couldn't tell this story because it wasn't mine. It was his. His grip, his rules, his rage. This comes from a story in my book, and the story is called Grip. She had a smart mouth. That's what he always told her. In the odd-shaped walk-in closet, she stood with her back to the opened door. In an instant, beyond her intuition, his meaty fingers were around her throat. She was turned and pushed to the ground in one fluid motion. She was too aware of the broken guitar lying between her and the closet floor. With her eyes closed, she heard him say, "You think you're gonna disrespect me, bitch? Who the fuck do you think I am?" He spat the words at her. Spittle settled on her face. Had she known, she would have wiped it away. There were some things she just couldn't tolerate. She could feel the dryness of his hand from the palm to each digging tip. She could feel the distinct droplets of sweat forming a shackle around her neck. The dryness, the sweat, living in the same space at the same time, yet so very separate. Suddenly, she felt a slack in his grip. One gasp for air ran away before she realized he was only shifting for a better hold. The comprehension sank so deep her eyes slammed open. Finally, looking into his eyes, she could see they didn't look different at all. She wished they did, but his eyes were calm, at ease, steady. For him, there was no passion, only intention. For her, there was no panic, only resignation. Nothing flashed before her eyes. No images of happy times or of sad times. No hope of times to come, or longing for times now gone. She might like to wonder why, but she can't. Nothing but the moment exists. And then he was gone, and she was alone and alive with the broken guitar still making its presence known against her back. She picked herself up, walked quietly into the kitchen, and made dinner. His grip on her throat, never as tight as the one he had on her mind. I used to think survival was enough, that getting through moments like these day after day meant I was okay. But surviving is silent. It keeps you small. There's no all-knowing guidebook for how to live after that kind of pain, so you carry it in your throat, in your spine, in your silence, until one day you don't, until the day you choose something else. When survival becomes your only language, there isn't room for anything else, not even yourself. You learn to disappear, to comply, to make dinner with black eyes behind sunglasses. And somehow you survive, but surviving isn't the same as being free. For 21 years, I had to make myself less just to survive. But even in the midst of that, I knew the real me was still in there somewhere, and that I had the right to feel free. Although I was aware of that on some level, once freedom became more than an idea, I still existed in the shadows of what I had been through for a very long time. Reclaiming my freedom wasn't easy. It took a long time to begin to shed the layers of fear, shame, and guilt that had kept me small, quiet, and hidden. In the beginning, the disdain I felt toward myself for what I eventually labeled self-abandonment was crippling. There was even a time when I decided to legally change my name because I didn't want to be Daphne anymore. She had let me down, and I wanted to be someone else. But as I began to heal, I started to see that my freedom wasn't about escaping the past or myself or even fighting for something better. It was about getting to know myself again, reclaiming the love I had always had for myself, and feeling like I had the right to take up space in this world. It became about embracing the fact that I didn't just survive. I was meant to thrive. Daphne was meant to thrive. So I kept my name. One day, when I was in the height of my recovery, someone who knows me well said to me that my self-love was too big for the room. And without missing a beat, I said, then build a bigger room. That wasn't just a statement about self-love. It was about the overarching theme of my life, freedom. The freedom to give myself the room to grow, to live out loud, to be as big as I want to be, with no fear, no apology, and no shame attached. Somewhere along the winding road back to myself, I got the word free tattooed down my forearm where I'd see it. Every time I reach for something, every time I fold my arms in self-protection, every time I touch someone I love. It's not just a reminder that I became free. It's a reminder that I chose to be. But allow me to state the obvious. A tattoo doesn't heal you. It doesn't make the nightmares go away. It doesn't erase the nights you wondered if it was your fault. It doesn't fix your triggers or your trust issues or the way you flinch when someone shuts a cabinet too loudly. What it does is remind you that in a world that tried to mark you with pain, you marked yourself with power. And maybe you need that reminder too, because no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've survived, you have the power to reclaim your freedom, just like I did. The truth is that freedom is not about running away from the past. It's about being able to turn around and look at it and even see the value in it. Seeing the value in your past can keep feelings of self-righteousness or bitterness from seeping into you, feelings that would only rob you of your freedom again. It's about you, just you, getting to choose how you show up in the world. So I want you to think about this. What does freedom look like for you? What would it feel like to reclaim your own freedom, no matter who or what has held you back in the past? To take up all the space you want, to love yourself fiercely and without reservation. Freedom begins with self-love, with allowing yourself to bask in that self-love. And once you do that, you'll realize there's no room for anything less. I see you because I've been you, and you are worthy of that freedom, just as I am. Now go ahead, build your bigger room.